Tonight on News 5 Live, senators support domestic violence bill, objections raised over Prime Minister's office renovation, and tourism master plan gets revised. These stories and more up next on News 5 Live.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
Are you looking for the right product to keep your family and your home safe? Then Spark Alcohol is exactly what you've been looking for. It prevents the spread of many diseases. It's also fast drying, safe, and conveniently packaged in a spray bottle. Protect your family and your home with Spark Alcohol. Exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited.
I never knew love until I found you. A fairy tale story that I thought would never come true. Join us on Friday, February 11th for Open Your Eyes' annual Valentine's Special. The show commences live from Smokies at 6:30 a.m. for a guaranteed time of fun, laughter, and love. But wait, that's not all. If you are ready to pop the big question this weekend to your significant other, we have an engagement ring for you. To participate, send us a private message telling your love story. Make sure to like and follow JEC Belize and Open Your Eyes BZ Facebook pages. A lucky winner will be selected this Friday. Don't miss Open Your Eyes Valentine's Special and start your morning right.
Newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, February 9th. I am Sabrina Daly. The Senate took a zero-tolerance stand against domestic violence at today's meeting inside the National Assembly. A domestic violence motion was brought from the House of Representatives. The motion received majority support in the House of Representatives on Friday. That support was extended by UDP senators, who today rose and spoke against abusers.
The motion has to address the big issue that we often ignore when it comes to domestic violence. It is usually in the case, Madam President, that around the abuser, there is a cadre of apologists for that abuser, supporters, defenders, people who derive some benefit from that abuser. And so these very same people would encourage the victim to not bring charges, to not make a big deal about something, to keep it a private matter. Sorry, Madam President. Thank you, Madam President. And for it to not be an issue for the sake of embarrassment, I hope when it comes to legal reform, thank you, Mr. President. I hope when it comes to legal reform, Mr. President, that we can put something in the laws that will also prosecute those people who enable and uphold the abuser as he or she carries out these crimes. It should be the law and strengthen the law that if you see someone abusing someone else, you must report it to the police. It is not a private matter. There is nothing domestic about it.
The matter of domestic violence, when we last met, Madam President, we stayed back and celebrated the 16 days of activism against domestic violence. And similar activities have happened throughout this country, where women get together and we advocate 16 days out of the year against domestic violence. I believe that more needs to be done on the matter. After watching the news interviews, I have come to the realization that our general public takes that domestic violence is a norm, it's permissible, and truly, it broke my heart to see how some of our Belizean people view domestic violence and gender-based violence. I keep in mind that our children are tuned into the news, and the generation that is to come behind us are seeing people normalizing the harm that has been inflicted on others in domestic situations. And so, as I rise to support across any political party lines this motion, I want to say to our children of Belize that it is not right for anybody, be it in the home, be it in the school, be it in the community, anybody to inflict harm on the other, regardless of the relationship.
Senators for the People's United Party showed support for the domestic violence motion. Senator Isabel Bennett spoke on the need to establish great support avenues for perpetrators of domestic violence.
I keep hearing that it's the government responsibility, as Senator Bradley said, but there are many organizations that are out there supporting victims. but there's not much support for perpetrators, and perpetrators can get the help that they need. And this is where collectively, as individuals, we can start examining ourselves, because if the statistics are true, as presented or shared by Senator Perfeet, then at some point in here, in this humble chambers, and it's frightening, it's alarming, that some one of us can be an abuser or we can be a victim. And so collectively, retrospectively, every single individual have to ask themselves, am I an abuser? Because at any given time, you can go home with levels of work stress, and that can trigger off into your family setting, and you end up having to abuse your wife. And regrettably, instead of having to think otherwise, you end up causing harm, and then that becomes an incident.
What this nation witnessed is exactly what every senator who has spoken today has condemned and criticized. We saw with concern a victim going to the police station to make a statement. And the same criticism, is that the right place? Was she protected? How did she feel? Was it necessary for her to be accompanied by a lawyer? But the deeper complaint, we all saw persons being allowed to go into the police station to pressure her and to interfere with the process. That is what we witnessed. We witness, Madam President, a withdrawal which happens far too often. Senators have identified reasons why mostly women find it necessary or are forced to withdraw. Lack of support. Senator Burns highlighted it. Senator Smith pointed out the entire lack of not only financial support, but other type of support that people go through and suffer and don't have, and so have to find themselves going right back to the venue where they know what is going to happen. We listen carefully to the examples given by Senator Jang. But yet, a professional, a self-accomplished woman, because of the circumstances swirling around her and the pressures, ended up withdrawing. The statement that was given has been broadcast widely on social media. And we must, as a country, ask ourselves, how is it that our system allows those circumstances to go unpunished?
The Senate also debated an over $70 million supplementary budget brought to the National Assembly by Prime Minister John Briceño at the last sitting of the House. It is the third supplementary budget brought before the upper chamber since October of 2021. Eamon Courtney, Senator for Government Business, took the lead in the debate. He outlined how the Briceño administration intends to use the funds.
In anticipation of the grandstanding, I want, Madam President, to explain for the benefit of those who wish to perpetrate mischief the main items in the supplementary. The first one Madam President, under head 19121, medical supplies, 15.5 million, addresses the purchasing of drugs for the public service. It's stated right there, materials and supplies, pharmaceuticals and consumables. And before mischief makers take to the floor, let me make it abundantly clear. There are a number of amounts stated under the subhead contracts and consultancy. No appropriation is being made for any consultancy. All of these under the Ministry of Health, we are told, are for contracts for the provision of goods and services, not consultancies. It is styled contract and consultancy simply because that is the heading that is given to that subhead. The 1.583 million under the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology is self-explanatory. It is for scholarships. 1.8 million was appropriated and an additional 1.5 million is being sought in order to educate Belizeans. We will see if the persons who have broken the law will support this or they are against providing scholarships. For the police department, we have set out under each subhead and each district where the police station exists, the materials and supplies and the amount that is being further appropriated under each subhead. It comes up to $1.5 million approximately, and in addition to that, there is the 1.5 million for the new Colby contract. I repeat, Madam President, all of these are set out as maintenance costs. There, as you can see, they are very small figures, 12,000, 15,000, 6,000, 8,000, but in light of our commitment to depart from the wrongdoing of the past, we have set out in detail each one of these appropriations so that you can see where these amounts are going.
The supplementary allocation also includes $1.7 million for the Ministry of Defense and Border Security, an additional $29.9 million under Capital Expense 2, as well as allocation for the rehabilitation of the Halover Bridge under Cap 3. Lead Senator for the opposition, Michael Parafit, criticized the Bersenio administration for presenting a third supplementary budget in less than 5 months. Parafit accused GOB of lacking the creativity and ideas needed to rebuild the economy. He also alleged this supplementary budget is, quote, one last hustle before the next budget is read, unquote.
Nothing he said in his preamble to try and disarm us before we say anything in here can change the fact, Madam President, that we were here in October for a supplementary budget. We were here in December for a supplementary budget. And now we're here in February for a supplementary budget, asking the people for $70 million. And you could dance around it and try to preempt with an explanation that should have been saved for winding up the debate and response and everything. But listen, the numbers don't lie, and the intent of the government cannot be hidden. When you look, Madam President, General Administration personal emoluments for the DPP's office, $167,000. For what? You didn't know that? You didn't know that in December? And if they want to come with scratch record, Madam President, well, then the music off of scratch. Because if you show no creativity and no new ways of growing the economy like the current Prime Minister criticized the previous government for not doing, well, then you're going to hear the same things as well. You have personal emoluments. You can't give people their 10% back. You can't give people their pay, but you can hire more people. Ministry of Finance, General Administration. Well, you talk about explanation in great detail, $200,000 for General Administration of the Ministry of Finance. Central Information Technology is at the 365, $1,431,733. When you already have budgeted for it, $4,466,181. What do you need an additional $1 million for? $1.6 million.
Senator Parafit went on to question the purpose of the $15 million being allocated to the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Additionally, he lambasted the Briceño administration for asking the National Assembly to approve some $200,000 for upgrades to the Prime Minister's office in a period of national economic constraints.
Medical supplies, $15 million. Hustle. And I'll tell you why. What are you doing? They're giving it away in the rest of the world. They're giving it away. Why can't we source our friends of Belize that you all supposedly have, to donate some of these medical supplies that for most of the first world countries, so-called first world countries who don't treat COVID as seriously as some of us, they're giving the medication away. What you're charging for, $100 for Belizeans to leave Mexico and coming to Belize, the same test costs $3 US in Chatham Mall. $3 US. But yet you sell it here for $100. Who is getting the contract to provide this pharmaceutical? For the Prime Minister, Office of the Prime Minister, upgrade of the office building, $250,000. I could have sworn one was left for you all to occupy. $250,000? Is this the one at the Serenity building or the one in Belize City? Or is this the one by, which office building needs $250,000 worth of repairs? $250,000? When price of gas going up, you can't give people a raise, you can't give people an increment, you can't give people a 10%. You're telling the people that we can't give you anything. We can't even implement a $5 minimum wage, but the Prime Minister's office needs repairs in the amount of $250,000. And then, purchase of furniture and equipment for the office of the Prime Minister, $10,000 was already budgeted for, Madam President. $10,000. Since March of last year to February of this year, they used $10,000 to provide office furniture and equipment for the Prime Minister. You know how much they want for one more month? For one more month, they're asking for $45,928. You need $45,000 for furniture, and you call a commission of inquiry and try to implicate me for 2 chairs? Why buy? Oh no.
Senators,
Are we gladly take it back? Are we gladly take it back?
Senators, I remind you of Standing Order 40B. You ought to maintain silence while another senator is speaking.
I really appreciate
you
it,
may
Madam
proceed,
President, but just know that I welcome
Michael
it,
Purvey.
Let it be, Madam President. $45,000? $45,000 for furniture for the Prime Minister's office? What kind of furniture he needs, sir? Huh? Carter's or Porsche not providing enough furniture. $45,000, they're what, Gucci? Louis Vuitton, Bottega, what are they?
Coming up, we'll have more from the Senate, including questions about spending on the Prime Minister's office. Details when we return.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At Digi Business, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
The Energy Unit in the Ministry of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics and E-Governance will be conducting a National Energy Use Survey from the 2nd of February to 30th May 2022. The survey will cover all sectors of Belize's economy, and the collected information will be used to support energy policies and assist in planning a sustainable future for Belize's energy sector. If your household has been selected, an enumerator will visit your home with an identification card. Enterprises will receive an online questionnaire to complete. In both cases, the ministry requests your kind cooperation. This survey is financed by a grant from the Global Environmental Facility via the World Bank, acting as the project executing agency under the framework of the Energy Resilience for Climate Adaptation Project.
New Year's is a time for us to make hearty resolutions that will help us better our lives, and then promptly forget about them. However, there are some resolutions we shouldn't forget about. Join us for our new series, 100%, where we'll be talking about being 100% in on things like our relationship with God, our spouses, finances, and more. Tune in at 10 a.m. right here on Channel 5 Belize.
Keep your business running efficiently with computer products and accessories from Cellular World. We are the largest electronics stores in Belize, providing business solutions from trusted brands including Dell, HP, Lenovo, and Samsung, just to name a few. Our range of business PCs and electronics include desktop computers, laptops, desktop monitors, mouses, battery backups, smart TVs, and computer accessories that are backed up by warranties to keep your business always running smoothly. Call or visit us at any of our 5 Cellular World locations in Belize City, Belmopan, or San Pedro, and let our knowledgeable team help you to find the right solutions. Cellular World, low prices, more choices.
Hospital Galenia es el único hospital de Quintana Roo en contar con la más completa unidad de medicina nuclear, poniendo a su alcance la mejor tecnología especializada de diagnóstico y tratamiento de enfermedades, en las que se utilizan cantidades muy pequeñas de radiofármacos para diagnosticar anomalías dentro del cuerpo. Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Elena Smith, Senator for the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, also weighed in on the financial debate. Smith took issue with the personal emoluments that are listed, as well as the monies being allocated to refurbish the office of the Prime Minister. Smith says teachers and public servants are suffering and gas prices are increasing, while the Prime Minister's office is spending on new furniture.
I can clearly recall that there was a moratorium on hiring because things were not good and we couldn't afford, and so there was a moratorium there. but I see that we have funds set aside for personal emoluments. I'm being told that, or we are requesting more funds, I should say. And I understand that there were new persons hired. Well, I came here today and I saw a new person here. So I don't know if that is a new hire or that is an old person that came back. I don't know. But in any event, we heard about, for example, Director of Public Prosecution, we are hearing about honorariums. But yet, Madam President, a year ago, the same people who are coming to say that these people need to get their honorariums said to me and my colleagues that we must sacrifice because all of us must share in the pain. So how is it that all of us were supposed to share in the pain, but not all of us can now share in honorariums? It cannot be. You can't tell me that I must sacrifice while others are gaining and we are all working. We are suffering, we are punishing. Some of our colleagues can barely meet their bills, barely provide for families. Yet we see these things coming before us. My colleague spoke about gas prices going up constantly, food prices as well. And with all my sacrifices, I'm not seeing anything coming back. At least not yet. And that is why when we go through this supplementary here, Madam President, and we hear of these things such as the Prime Minister's office, I'm trying to find it, and for repairs and for furniture, upgrade of building. And as I said the last time, because I spoke to this the last time, that indeed a lot of our buildings have not been properly kept, and they do need some repairs. But here we need $250,000 to repair and $45,928 to purchase office furniture and equipment. It made us wonder, Madam President, if the past Prime Minister probably took all of the furniture from there and all equipment, and so there's none now and we have to buy new ones.
Seeking to offer some clarity on repairs on the Prime Minister's office, Eamon Courtney, Senator for Government Business, said several offices, including the Cabinet Room, are also within the office of the Prime Minister.
General Administration, aware that. Giving the public who doesn't have this document in their hands the impression that no detail is given. Right below that, he marked contribution and subscriptions. And as a former minister, he knows that these contributions and subscriptions are what has to be paid by the government to international organizations. He knows that. What you hear, huh? General Administration, they're with that. We don't know about that. He knows it. But it is some people could read and understand. Others can read and can't understand. And this brings me to the argument I had with a friend. The friend, they tell me that smarter than me. So I said, well, why you say that? Well, I see the man report card and the man got loan here and a lot of it. I said, what you talk about? I said, which primary school? I said, primary school. He said, no, from the law school. I said, you see it? I said, show me it. The friend showed me the thing. I looked by it. I said, eh. I said, my brother, they're in the absence. Then the only airport for him report card. Senator Perfield, let me help you. I know you're not that smart from a report card. When it comes to the Prime Minister's office, it is not the Prime Minister's office alone that is being repaired. It is the cabinet room that is being retrofitted. It is the bathroom that is being retrofitted. It is the Prime Minister's office that is being retrofitted. It is the foyer that is being retrofitted. It is, most importantly, the roof that is leaking. So when we talk about $250,000 and it gives the impression that it is in the Prime Minister's office alone, it is not true.
Senator for Non-Governmental Organizations Osmani Salas has tendered his resignation as senator after five years of service in the seat to take up a post at a conservation NGO. Senator Salas was elected to fill the seat of the 13th senator back in 2017. That seat had been promised by the Barra administration in 2008, but it was not until 2016 that the Prime Minister signed the order to appoint the 13th senator. He broke the news of his departure this morning.
As of at the end of this month, Madam President and colleagues, I will be stepping down as senator representing NGOs. I have tendered my resignation to the steering committee of the Belize network of NGOs. The reason I have decided, after much contemplation and deliberation and an advice that I sought, is that I applied for and have been offered to work for the World Wildlife Fund as the country lead for the project Finance for Permanence. That 3-year undertaking, Madam President and colleagues, will inevitably require negotiations, discussion, and agreements with the government. So, Madam President and colleagues, I've made that decision because I do not want even the appearance of conflict of interest in the work that I will be charged with leading as of next month. One of the few things that I completely own is my integrity, and I hold that dear to my heart.
The violence continued this morning in the Antelope Street Extension area of Belize City, when a young man was shot dead in the street. His murder has left a friend numb and the police searching for clues. News 5's Marion Ali has the story.
18-year-old Joshua Pow had reportedly been staying with a friend on Hercelet Moody Street in the Antelope Street Extension area and never had a problem with the residents. But this morning, someone obviously wanted him dead and succeeded in their plan to kill him.
Sometime around 8:30, shots rang out on this very street that we're standing. And when the shooting ceased, he was lying behind that blue vehicle to our left, to my left, lifeless. No?
A friend of the deceased told us that he had been staying at her house since his release from the youth hostel a couple months ago.
He come back the back here and he said that if family chaser, I never have no way for this, so that's why I end up back the back here. But since he hang the back here, he call every day, he sleep at me. He call, we cook, he eat big, he like eat big, that I think, well, he love to eat.
The Belize Police Department's Communication Director, Assistant Superintendent Fitzroy Yearwood, said at the scene that the deceased had been in a conversation at the junction with someone when only moments later he was gunned down. The motive, unclear, but the intent, evident.
From the amount of wounds on that body, I wouldn't see who else would have been the target. He was recently, charged for an aggravated burglary. And he was a resident at the youth hostel, but he did not act in any violent way towards anybody in this area. So it's a really difficult investigation, but we at the police department, we believe that we can get some form of information that could at least establish who would want to do something like this to him.
Whoever is responsible for Powell's killing took away someone's good friend.
For we last conversation was yesterday evening, right by the red vehicle over there. We would talk. He called, he hugged me, and he says, "Sis," he said, "You don't know, you know." He said, "Once anything at the right wrong, the lane, you know." So I tell her, yeah, breads. I said, "Okay, then later I call see, but I never did get to see he, none at all, and up to this man, I still not see him."
Police have recovered several 9mm expended shells and 2 slugs from the scene. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
After the break, the Ministry of Tourism comments on the border reopening. Stay with us.
Offers the best mobile experience in Belize? You don't know? Well, the truth is, Digi, our national telecom, of course. Digi has the largest mobile LTE advanced network with over 96% countrywide coverage, offering the fastest mobile LTE data speeds at the most affordable rates with mobile plans that fit your lifestyle. The truth is, only Digi gives the ultimate mobile LTE experience. Visit your nearest Digi store to join the bigger, better network today. Digi, our national telecom. Visit us online at www.livedigi.com.
I visited the land of Serbia, a great many miles away. I ascended the Mount Everest few people have conquered. I roared on the snow-covered Antarctic and Arctic. I rolled swiftly across the vast, untamed desert. Ling Long Tire conquers every corner of the world.
Distributed by Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited. 2 miles Philip Golson Highway, Belize City.
Hospital Galenia es el único hospital de Quintana Roo en contar con la más completa unidad de medicina nuclear, poniendo a su alcance la mejor tecnología especializada de diagnóstico y tratamiento de enfermedades, en las que se utilizan cantidades muy pequeñas de radiofármacos para diagnosticar anomalías dentro del cuerpo. Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
In these trying times, Smart is here to lessen the burden. Smart's reduced roaming rates save you while traveling. Calls back home are a low 35 cents per minute when visiting Canada, the US, and Mexico, or pay as low as 50 cents for calls when visiting countries in the Caribbean, Central, and South America. For the month of February and March, enjoy an unbelievable low rate of 30 cents per megabyte when roaming with mobile data in Canada, the US, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean. Whether you are a business traveler, studying abroad, visiting loved ones, or just traveling for pleasure, Smart's new roaming rates have got you covered. Roaming in China, Europe, Central America, South America, and the Caribbean is as low as the cost of making a local call. It's that low. Smart's roaming coverage continues to grow, so you can also enjoy affordable roaming rates in several destinations across the globe. For more information on rates to other countries, visit our website or call 1090 for more details before you travel. Smart, bringing people together.
Tourism stakeholders may be interested to know that the Tourism Master Plan is getting an update. Isani Cayetano was at the signing of a memorandum of understanding today between the BTB and the University of Belize.
The National Sustainable Tourism Master Plan was endorsed by Cabinet a little over 11 years ago. Since then, it has become the strategic guideline for tourism development in Belize. That dynamic, long-term planning document provides a conceptual layout to guide future growth within the travel and leisure sector. The tourism industry has been severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, creating significant market shocks. In order to remain competitive, Belize's National Sustainable Tourism Master Plan has to be revisited.
In tourism, we lead or we die in a very dynamic and competitive environment. The name of the game today is not whether we will recover, but what we will do after the recovery process is completed. And what will be the vision for tourism after that? It is therefore incumbent on us as the agency responsible for tourism development in Belize to engage in a comprehensive process of review of our current growth path and adjust where necessary.
Earlier today, the Belize Tourism Board signed an agreement with the University of Belize to revise the Tourism Master Plan. Utilizing an in-house team of technical experts, along with assistance from the University of Melbourne, Australia, a 10-month consultancy will be undertaken.
The tourism industry, as we know, plays a very crucial role in our national development. Very important. And hence, to ensure that we have a plan, a strategic plan to guide this industry, very important. Just last week, I was at a COBEC meeting and I addressed the audience and I stressed to them the need for us at the university to guide national development rather than to follow national development. So we're taking our role as a national university to assist with the guiding, the leading of national development. We take that very seriously.
Abil Castaneda is the Quality Management and Capacity Development Director at BTB.
The first phase will take about 2 to 3 months in doing diagnosis and assessment of all the sort of background context that we currently are in. The impacts that COVID has created in the industry, issues such as climate change, resilience, safety and security, which necessarily weren't included in the first original version of the NSTMP of the master plan itself. So the team will really take a deep dive into where we are now and using that information to be able to then establish what would be the recommendations for priority projects and product development and recommendations for marketing and all the different sectors moving forward.
This process will not only shed light on the gaps that Belize currently has in its tourism development strategy, it will also seek to bring the country up to scratch with new travel trends and market realities, so as to facilitate future tourism growth and prominence.
This is the first step. We are also in discussions with the University of Belize to see the best way forward, to chart the best way forward for a tourism and hospitality institute. And hopefully later on this year, we will have either a groundbreaking or we will start to initiate some of the programs as we continue this path forward in that initiative.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Belize's land borders were reopened on February 7th. Since then, there has been a steady trickle of travelers crossing over into Mexico and Guatemala. But there are still a few setbacks to address in the days ahead, particularly where it concerns testing requirements for persons re-entering the country. It takes a concerted effort for government to get things to flow smoothly. Earlier today, Minister of Tourism Anthony Muller spoke about the numbers, as well as the hiccups that are being faced at the borders.
The borders opened on Monday. We've had a constant flow of people crossing the border both ways, in both borders. And I think all the departments are working to ensure that it is a seamless effort. And there are going to be some hiccups here and there, but we're working through those, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks we have seamless process as people move back and forth to Mexico and to Guatemala. We had an intense discussion in Cabinet yesterday with regards to the way forward living with COVID, and the Minister of Health and Wellness should bring a paper next week to the Cabinet to lay out the protocols or requirements that we will need as we continue to open up the economy.
While Mahler anticipates an increase in traffic to and from Belize in the coming weeks, he also supports the idea that it's time to fully reopen the country, but not without certain rules in place to minimize the spread of COVID-19.
It has been steady. I think the first day we had about 1,200, and yesterday we had about 1,500. And I think that will continue to grow again as things become more relaxed as we move forward in opening up the economy.
Sir, the borders are now open. You guys say that you're discussing it at length in Cabinet, but the curfew was extended for another month. Could I get your thoughts on that particular measure and its effect or lack thereof?
Well, now that we've been living with Omicron for a month, a little bit over a month, I think we need to open the economy as best as possible, still taking into consideration the health protocols that are needed to keep our people safe. But it is time that we open up.
The traveler's insurance is now available for sale, coming into effect February 15th. Does that mean that tourists at the border who test negative and positive, they can still come into the country at the land borders, can still come into the country?
And they will be treated under the program, yes.
As the United Democratic Party struggles to bring stability to its leadership, Senator Darrell Bradley appeared on Open Your Eyes to discuss the type of reform he believes Belizean politics needs. He says there will always be divisiveness because differing views is what politics is all about, and that no one leader can ever achieve total unity. Instead, he says parties need to be principle-based and have a vision for reform that party supporters can support.
You want to rally behind a vision and an agenda for integrity, change, reform, and you want to make sure that you can convince people. One of the biggest things that I did when I was mayor and in the Senate is trying to speak and convince people about a certain vision because they do not agree. One of the things that I tried to do in the United Democratic Party also for those who I'm close with in the party is to chart a certain direction to say that this is where the party needs to go. We need to have an agenda for reform. We need to be about more challenging some of the things that the government is doing, engaging with the government where it's positive, and make it less about personality and more about issues, more about principle. And I think that when you do that, you're able to capture more people.
When we asked for his views on the narrow vote taken by the UDP Party National Council over Patrick Fauber's resignation, and if it is surprising that there was only a one-vote difference, Darrell Bradley says again, principle-based discussion is needed. He says there is no place for domestic violence, and people in the political sphere must act with the highest integrity and character.
I want to be very, very firm that there is absolutely no place for any type of gender-based violence in any part of society, especially and including people who hold elected office. That is a non-starter. I also want to say that sometimes when people make discussions and they have decisions, they base that decisions on things which I would say are not principle-based. You and I have to agree to certain things. Yes. And if you and I are having a discussion that would be meaningful, there has to be certain framework. When I go into a court, there are certain rules. When I go into any kind of other activity, there are certain rules, there are certain commonalities. We have a political system, there's a PUP and there's a UDP, but there must be certain things that we must agree on. Number one, we must agree that the people within the sphere must be people who conform to the highest level of integrity. I do not believe that that is an argument. I believe that that is something that everybody has to ascribe to. And this is not only in the area of gender-based violence. This has to do with national character on a whole.
Allegations of corruption.
Definitely.
Just ahead, Shine Barrow touted as rap artist with incredible story on U.S. talk show. Details when we return.
Clean and maintain your yard the best way with Honda trimmers and lawn mowers. Honda Lawn and Garden Equipment. Available at Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway from Roaring Creek to Esperanza has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
My parents always said, when it's time to build, invest in quality products that last a lifetime, even if it means paying a little more. It is now my turn to invest in my own home, and it's not even a question. It has to be Oran Windows. My contractor recommends Oran because of the heavy-duty construction, the thickest gauge blades on the market, and the dual locks that allow lower louvers to close independently for privacy while the top remains open for airflow. These features make Oran aluminum louver windows the best on the market.
With Oran aluminum louver windows, you get strength, durability, and beauty with an added layer of security and protection against debris and damaging winds. Come in and check out the variety of sizes and colors at Design Depot, located at Mile 3 Philip Goldson Highway in Belize City.
The ministry is collaborating with SpeedNet Communications to have a vaccination campaign for children ages 12 to 17 years. Children who get vaccinated will get a chance to win fabulous prizes, including backpacks with supplies, Nintendo Switch, tablets, book tuitions, and MiFi with 3 months data. Only children 12 to 17 years old can participate in this smart and Ministry of Health and Wellness raffle. At vaccination sites, each vaccinated child, upon being vaccinated, will receive a ticket to place their name, age, date of birth, BHIS number, and contact information on, which will be filled out by a parent or legal guardian. The sooner a person vaccinates, the more chances he or she will have to win. Get vaccinated, please. Vaccination saves lives.
New Year's is a time for us to make hearty resolutions that will help us better our lives, and then promptly forget about them. However, there are some resolutions we shouldn't forget about. Join us for our new series, 100%, where we'll be talking about being 100% in on things like our relationship with God, our spouses, finances, and more. Tune in at 10 a.m. right here on Channel 5 Belize.
Remember to bring in the love this Valentine when you come on down to Champion Security's first ever drive-through extravaganza and purchase one of our fully loaded 8-camera packages.
Yes guys, we urge you this Saturday, February 12th, 2022 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. right here at Champion Security. Remember, all COVID protocols will be set in place.
And remember guys, the 14th person to purchase a camera package also gets a $100 gift certificate, so you don't want to miss it. Please come on down. Champion Security, where your safety is our business.
The Belize Electricity Limited wishes to clarify that it did not request an increase in rates in its recent annual review proceeding submission to the Public Utilities Commission. BEL points to a press briefing on January 6th, during which its General Manager of Legal and Corporate Service, Don Samson Nunez, said, quote, "We proposed in our submission to the PUC to recover the difference between what the actual cost of power was in the previous period and the approved or referenced cost of power. We propose to collect that at a later time, and I think it's 2023. And the reason for that is simple. We are experiencing economic hardships. We thought that it's better to defer," unquote. The clarification follows a story on Friday in which we reported that the PUC would not be approving an increase in the mean electricity rate, which currently stands at 0.3999 per kilowatt hour. In that story, it was also mentioned that BEL had indicated they need a rate hike due to a cost overrun from suppliers that was higher than projected. Opposition leader Shine Barrow is once again in the United States on official travel, but while stateside, he's also making his media rounds. Earlier today, the Mess-Up area rep appeared on Wendy Williams. The Queen of Media was absent from today's episode, but sitting in for her was fellow New York rapper Fat Joe, along with his protege Remy Ma. The trio touched on a number of issues during the brief segment, including Shine's leadership aspirations and his path to redemption. Here's a quick bite from today's appearance.
I'm very purpose-driven. So everything for me is Belize. You know that. That's all. Everything. That's all we talk about.
All we talk about is Belize. Shout out to Kanye West. Just came back from Belize.
It's a beautiful country, by the way.
Everybody's going out there. Tourism. I feel like everywhere I go, everybody's talking about going to Belize. I mean, I think you got something to do with that. We're bringing everybody to Belize. Everybody's like, yo, we got to go over there.
I don't think it's a coincidence. But certainly, you know, my life story, whether it's Nelson Mandela, whether it's Malcolm X, you know, there are many people before me that may have been incarcerated, may have made mistakes as a youth, and certainly my evolution and transformation is supposed to be used as inspiration for anyone. You know, I think my story transcends class, transcends race, transcends region. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. You can relate to this Shine story of success, failure, and then triumphing again. But now this time it's for a purpose. It's for my country. It's for my people.
Up next, Ostrich importers still trying to get permits approved after 6 years. Find out what the latest holdup is when we return.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, Vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
When something is good and you can save, that makes it even better. Like this guy, he buys Flex bundles using his promo credit. No worries when his primary credit is finished. He gets talk, text, and data for free. Or her, she calls her family internationally with her promo credit. And with data packages so affordable, she even does video calls. Smart continues to offer great deals and affordable promotions. As a small business owner, she saves when she uses her promo credit to call the other guys. All Smart customers enjoy more triple days and knowing they can use their promo credit, which just lasts longer. Smart, bringing people together.
If you're looking for low-cost television advertising, have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you save valuable time and money. Call us today at 223-0146 or visit us at our offices on Pony Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabriela and my name is Kieran. Today we're going to be learning how to put on makeup.
Connecting people. Creating memories. Sharing a smile. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Businesswoman Nancy Marin has turned to the media to help her to find out why, after following all the procedures and requirements to get an import permit for ostriches, her application was first granted but then revoked. Marin, who is also the leader of the Belize People's Front movement, told News 5 that she has the support of the Minister of Agriculture, Abelarda Mai, but that the confusion seems to be between the Belize Agricultural Health Authority and the Forestry Department. So after Baja granted the permit, it then reversed their decision based on laws that the Forestry Department point to regarding the type of bird that Marin wants to import.
After 6 years, I was allowed to send in an application in February of last year. It has taken that long, but the procedures was that I needed to first send the phytosanitary documents from the farm that I'm buying in Mexico, and all of their business documents and the vet certificates from the animals they have there from their breeders. All of that had passed. And then a few months later, they told me that I then needed to pay for a research. Like after you complete what they've asked you, then they come up with more and more. So it's not like they send you a letter with all of the procedures. And that is what holds the process back. In November, I was told that I could come in and that I had approval for the importation through Baja. I was never, through the 6 years, never told that I had to go to forestry for anything at all, until I went in and tried to get the approval in writing so that I could go bring them from the border. Then I was told that I'm sorry that forestry said that this animal is a protected animal and that it's a wildlife, and so that I need permits from them. They sent me a list of procedures that I did, then another list of procedures that I have now completed, and still there's nothing.
We asked the reason for her interest in the ostrich, which is not a bird Belizeans are very familiar with. She explained that these birds can be income generators for those in the agro-industry sector.
I visited and worked at some in New Mexico, in Mexico itself, in Monterrey, in Merida. They have ostrich farms, and I've always been involved. So I know the breeding of the animal. I know how to process the meat. I know how to remove for leather. I know how to do all of this. The ostrich is a very versatile animal. You can use every single part of it. You can use the meat in various different ways. You can use the leather, the feathers, the bones, even oil from the fat of the ostrich is a high-priced commodity. The hoofs are dried and sold as ornaments. Every single part of the ostrich can be used for something. And every single part is very high priced, so it's very profitable.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.